I'm going to hit live. Oh, live on the go live. Live video start. Hopefully it's live. Doesn't tell me yet. There you go. We are live. Awesome. All right, Clay, how are you, mate?
Great, great. Thanks for having me on.
Awesome, mate. So we've got Alec, Robin, and Susanna with us here, and Carlos as well, of course, my awesome offsider, Carlos. Guys, we are live on Facebook. So if you are watching this on Facebook, please feel free to jump in. The Zoom link should be in the description somewhere, wherever you're watching it. If you would like to come in and join, we have got the awesome Clay Lawrence here this morning from Review Harvest. Clay is going to be dropping some amazing information so about how he's scaled his GoHighLevel SaaS business to 170 active users in 17 months. We were talking the other day, Clay, and I think since we posted this up, you're up closer to 200 or so now. Is that right?
Correct, correct.
So that's pretty cool. So we're going to go through some tips, strategies, how you've done it, how you've kind of focused, what you've done to get clients, how you've got to keep clients, and what everybody's kind of looking for. And as we've just been laughing about as you were driving into getting, the laptop lifestyle basically that we want to do, right? That's the whole point of doing high level and stuff like that. But to be able to get to that kind of scale where you've got enough clients coming in. Maybe there's people doing this now. They're starting out. They want to change their job, change their careers. They're beginning with high level. Like, how do we do it? How do we get there, mate? You've done it. So thank you so much for coming on today. We really appreciate it. Coming on and sharing your knowledge with our crowd, mate. So would you
Yeah,
like to give yourself a little intro? Who is Clay? What you've done over the last, well,
yeah,
17, 18, 19 months to get to where you are and how that
yeah.
journey's been for you.
Definitely, definitely. Yeah. So I found high level and I think late 2020 or early 2021 when I was in college. And like anybody, I spent a year or 2 years figuring out what to do with this thing. It's like you have this behemoth and this beast of high level that has so much opportunity and there's so many different routes you can go. And so for 2 years, I kind of like, piddled around and had a marketing agency, did this, that, or the other. And then about 19 months ago, I kind of focused and I said, "Hey, I'm going to do a review harvest." Thanks to my wife. My wife, being the genius, the wise individual that she is, she was like, "What about that review thing? The thing you do for all your like, agency clients that stress you out because you have to do all these different things. They all like the review thing. So what if you just did that?" And so I kind of rebranded and focused to that and got started. And now, yeah, just have a little bit over 200 active SaaS customers. Just helping people get Google reviews. It's the only thing we do. We don't have any, contrary to most of the everyone in the marketing community tells me you need to upsell, you need to do this, like you can make a lot more money. Like you're definitely right, but it's just super simple business, and that's what I enjoy about it. And so yeah,
Mate, that's awesome. And that's the thing. Key word that you said there, you focused, right? You focused on one
yeah,
thing, and then that's where you kind of go. So, I mean, you can probably do all those things, and maybe in time to come, maybe you will. Maybe you'll scale up, and then you'll add, I don't know, website builds or whatever, whatever, whatever. There's all those things. But the key to scaling and scaling quickly and efficiently is pick that one thing, right? And do that one thing and do that one thing well. Keep those customers happy rather than running around all over the place. Like we do that. We like for my sins, we still have agency clients from our legacy agency that we do that stuff for as well. Which, like, I love those clients. We've had clients that have been with us for absolutely years, and like for years,
Mm,
we've kind of been, we've been a bit of a yes man to them.
yeah,
We can do this, that, and the other, and we've always done it, and we still do it for them. And like, they're such good clients, the ones that we still have. They've been with us for years.
yeah,
Kind of there's a what do you call it, the masochistic part of me that still likes it because like the little challenges and stuff like that, but at the same time it's so much more challenging. It's just like
yeah,
for not really enough money. Like you look at
yeah,
the effort and the time and everything else that you put into it and figuring out a new thing, like it's not really worth
yeah,
it financially.
for
um
sure.
so, mate, what's kind of some key tips that you've got to people who are looking to get started? Or actually, you had a little presentation. Did you want to run through that and then we can run through some
Yeah,
questions or we
yeah.
can do a little Q&A as we go?
That sounds perfect. I have a quick kind of slide deck with a presentation with about it'll probably be 15, 20 minutes worth of content, and then we can just open it up to Q&A for a bit. And one thing I wanted to touch on, if you don't mind, about that like transition, like having the agency clients to the review harvest. Like it wasn't when I had all those agency clients, I just like you were kind of saying, they a lot of them were great clients, but I just kind of peeled them off based off of who's the biggest headache and who pays me the least. And I just slowly peeled them off over time. It wasn't like a clean break. And actually, I just think just like a couple months ago, 3 months ago, I got rid of like my biggest agency client that had been like amazing, been with me since day one, been with me since 2021 or early 2022. And they were like not a headache at all. So it's like, why would I just turn these people away? You know, I just do the same thing every month and they're good. They don't question it or whatever. But it was a very slow transition. But that focus, just slowly peeling that out, and that focus just allows you to solve problems once and then be able to use those solutions time and time again, which is a little bit harder if you're doing kind of the yes man agency thing and just saying yes to everybody, which had its benefits in the beginning because you learn a lot, but it's kind of hard to scale.
It definitely is, mate. I just want to say as well, so if anybody's watching this or you guys who are here on the live as well, if you've got questions anytime, either pop your hand up, ask questions, put them in the chat. Guys, if you are
Yeah,
watching this live, Clay is on you're on a time window today as well. So we've only got you for about another 40 odd minutes too, right? Because you do have to make a move
yeah,
today,
no,
you
I
did
think
say.
I
So,
think I'll be good. I think I'll be good. I'll be good for another 50-ish minutes. Yeah.
okay, cool. But yeah, this is an opportunity to talk to someone who has built, 200 sub accounts in the last, I mean, you're now 18, 19 months or so.
Mhm.
If you want to ask someone some questions who's done that, jump in,
Yeah,
come and ask questions.
for
Clay
sure.
is here for that, mate. So if you want to run
For
through
sure.
your little presentation, mate, that would be awesome. And then guys,
Yeah,
we'll do some
let's do it.
Q&A.
Let's do it. Yeah, and Gary, let me know if anybody pops their hand up or posts something in the chat. I can't really see it when I'm sharing my screen here, so just let me know. Feel free to
Sure.
interrupt me and we
Yep,
can
sure thing, mate.
up that. Um, all right. Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Awesome. Sweet, sweet. So let's go into presentation mode. All right. Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right, great. Yeah, so this was just a little bit about how HighLevel changed my life. You can see over here on the right-hand side, you can see this is me in college when after I just discovered HighLevel and I was like trying to figure out what to do with it or whatever. And then this was last October when I was able to get my SaaSpreneur Gold Award from HighLevel at the summit. So that was really, really awesome. And yeah, so introduction, like we said, founder of Review Harvest, got SaaSpreneur Award, and now I'm at 200 active SaaS customers in just about 18 or 19 months. So, what I'm going to cover in this slide show here is I want to show you how I get customers from Facebook groups, and I still think this is like super low hanging fruit, and it's one of those things that it kind of takes a while to get the ball rolling with it. But if you do it right, it's just gonna send you customers every day, every week, and the best types of customers. I'm gonna go over how I get our clients crazy results, like 4 reviews with personalized images, and then I'm gonna go over how we make sure our clients stay for years or give us the best chance to. Right now, our average ticket we do anywhere from $100 to $300 a month packages, and our average like monthly recurring revenue from a client is about $180. And so our customer lifetime value right now is a little bit over $1,700, and it just keeps going up every month as like we get older and we stay around longer. So yeah, first we'll just go over how we can get some customers from um, from Facebook groups, but I wanted to touch on the kind of first customers thing. I really think that if you are just getting started, the best place to find your first customers is in your phone contacts and in your followers. So just kind of reach out. This is the same exact process I did. Reach out to those people that already know you, already like you, already trust you. Tell them you're doing this thing, offer to do it for free. And then once you kind of go through all your contacts and all your followers on Instagram and Facebook and stuff like that, then I would recommend doing some outreach locally. Because when you're doing cold outreach locally, you can say something that the rest of the world can't say. And it's like, hey, can I buy you a coffee? Can I buy you lunch? Whatever, and meet them at some place local, which is automatically going to just kind of set you apart from everybody else reaching out to these business owners. Because obviously, people are inundated with these messages all the time. And so how can we stick out through the noise. So the process I went through was, kind of starting that second part was just the cold outreach to local people. But we're going to go more deeply on the Facebook groups here. So, when it comes to the types of Facebook groups to join, here's kind of the three ones I've gone after. And so it's specific to me because I do these things specifically because at Review Harvest, we're looking normally for like just local small businesses. Lots of the times they're in the home service industry, or they're types of industries that we serve better. So like anybody that collects contact information, we serve a lot better than like a restaurant that might not collect reservation data and stuff like that. And so you can go after industry specific Facebook groups, or you can go after software or tool specific. So that's been a big unlock for me, the software tool ones, because I know that with Zapier or Make or whatever, there are some tools that we can integrate with super easily and get their customer information and automatically add them to the HighLevel sub account to request reviews. And so once I find that, hey, everybody on this tool that we could work with very well, then we'll kind of go in that Facebook group and try to get some traction there. And that's another thing when it comes to like staying for years, which we're going to talk about later. Like that integration with their tool is so important. We go from it with the frame of like we don't want to get people to use HighLevel. We just want to plug in HighLevel to their system where they don't really have to log in or anything. We just get them reviews on autopilot. So that integration is super important. And the last one is just kind of industry times, like business function specific. So like HVAC, sales and marketing, or something like that. You have to watch out. A lot of times those are run by fellow marketing business owners, high level agency owners, whatever, like us. So you don't want to go in there and just start blasting messages or posts or anything. You might get cut out pretty quickly if you're kind of impeding on someone else's territory. But yeah, so this was kind of something I just stumbled across. Um, the people in the Facebook group that are posting a lot and talking a lot, they have this all-star contributor, top contributor, or like rising contributor badge. And what I realized was after doing some cold outreach and cold DMs in some of these groups, I mean, what I was doing is I was just going to the search function in the Facebook group and I was looking up like reviews or Google reviews or something like that. And then I would just find who's posting about that. And then I would DM them like, hey, what are you using in Google reviews? Are you still using X software? If they're in like a software specific group. And what happened was one of the first clients that I signed up, he was like one of those all-star contributors. And I signed him up for free. I got him results for free as well. And what I noticed was that without me even having to ask, without me having to do anything, as soon as I started getting him results, he started spreading the word about me in the group. So he made a post. He said, hey, I always like to share what's working for me. Just started using Review Harvest. That post was like the first time I'd ever gotten like 4 or 5 customers, card on file, onboarding call booked without a sales call. And I was like, whoa, this is crazy. And so finding those really loud people, offering to do stuff for them for free, like set them up on your service for free or for a discounted rate or a trial, whatever it is, just to get them to start talking about you. Because now, anytime somebody was posting about reviews in that Facebook group, since he was very active in the group, he was like an all-star contributor. He was saying, hey, you got to use Review Harvest. You got to use Review Harvest. And so if you can't find these all-star contributors or whatever, another thing you can do is you can just go directly to the admin or the group, the owners of the group, and just say, hey, I want to do this stuff for free. After doing that, I found an owner that allowed me to basically just market at free will there. And anytime somebody says stuff about reviews, he'll comment Review Harvest to let other people comment Review Harvest and stuff. And then he'll just close the post. He's like, use them. And so I'll show you an example of that here later. But finding these people and then just sending them a kind of a DM on Facebook saying, hey, are you still using this software? Or, what are you using for Google reviews? Just to try and start the conversation, and then offering our services for free there. And so once you get those leaders great results, then they will just post about you. So a lot of these posts like weren't even prompted. I did go through a time where I kind of like asked people to do it, but I noticed that like when I asked people to do it, maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But just the loud people, these leaders, these all-star contributors or whatever, they will just post about you. You don't even have to, you don't even really have to ask. And so that's something when you just get on your Facebook randomly, probably because you're getting distracted at work, if you're like me, and then you see somebody in a group, you see somebody in a group say something about your business and saying, positive things. There's no better feeling than seeing that post. And so the cool thing about that is that these leaders in the group, these admins, these all-star contributors, people follow them. And so this is what I was saying. Like a lot of these people are like what I would consider a micro influencer, right? Like it's not like they have thousands of followers and stuff, but when it comes to this group, they have some authority and people listen to what they say. And so somebody asked about reviews, and people were like, Review Harvest, Clay Lawrence's Review King. There's no one better than Review Harvest. And then the owner of the group actually just said Clay Lawrence and closed post. And so that's a crazy feeling to see this. And I noticed like when people are making these posts, I get a couple signups without a sales call, without anything, just card on file, onboarding call booked, ready to rock and roll. And so that's a great feeling. Um, and that's like they're some of my best clients because I know their type of business because it's very specific to that Facebook group, right? It's not like this is some super broad Facebook group with hundreds of thousands of users or tens of thousands of users. Like the Facebook group I've specifically gotten a lot of my business from, I think they only have like 2,000 people in the Facebook group. And so I think since it's a small group, that density of that word of mouth spreads really quickly. And also they all have a very similar business. They use similar systems. They trust me because they see everybody else talking about it in the group, and they're constantly being reaffirmed that this is the best company to work with. And a lot of times they don't even need the sales call or demo call or anything like that. They just get set up. And so that's what I love about these clients. Um, so that's getting customers from Facebook group. Gary, is there any questions in the chat or anybody have any questions about that? Um,
I don't have a question, but I think what you've done is brilliant. And right from the start there, where you said about how you make it a little bit different when you was trying to cold outreach, it's like you were going and talking to people, say, hey, can I come and meet you for a coffee? Right? So what you've done, and this is similar to what we've done with myCRMSIM, and what I've always tried to do is be very personable and approachable and
Mhm.
take the time to have conversations with people. Like I never view it as as a waste of time just talking to someone anyway, because you never know where that conversation is going to go. So it sounds like you've done a very similar thing. You've become part of these people's groups, you've connected with them, you've provided value, you have a conversation, you've done it for free in some cases, I'm assuming probably in other cases, just provided some advice to people and stuff like that. So now they know, like, and trust you, right? And that's what's super important. It's not just
Yeah.
about, oh yeah, review harvest, right? Because what's review harvest, right? I
Yeah.
mean, we know what it is, it's a service, but Clay, the face behind review harvest, he's the guy that runs it. He's the guy
Mhm.
that can help me. I know that if I message Clay, he's going to reply to me, he's going to help me. And
Mhm.
would you think that's kind of what's really helped you to elevate to the levels that you are, with just kind of being approachable and in front of people?
For sure. For sure. And the other like popular review softwares in that industry, now they're businesses with 10,000 plus users that have been acquired, that are faceless, that the founder's not involved and all that stuff. So they kind of lack that personal touch that we can still offer. And it's so funny to say like have a real conversation, you don't worry about wasting time. Like in my community specifically for anybody that like wants to learn how to do this sort of stuff, people are like, oh, I need to find a scalable system how I can acquire customers on autopilot and send thousands of emails or thousands of DMs. And I'm like, you don't have any clients to support right now. Like you're just getting started. It makes so much sense to take the time to personalize each message, take the time to, get to know them, get to know their business, even answer their questions if it's not related to your service. Because like right now, you shouldn't be busy with any client delivery because you don't have it, right? So take all the extra time to focus on that outreach.
Yeah, and it's a different level too, right? Because when you're starting out, like basically you're here, right? You're at the bottom of the rung, right? It's just you,
Yeah.
and then you've got
Yeah.
those companies that are like, they've got 10,000 clients and whatever, whatever, and the aspiration might be to be there. But if you try and start with this is my brand and this is my service and all that, people have never
Yeah.
heard of you. They don't trust that brand yet, right? You could probably get there with Review Harvest over time anyway, where you build it up
Yeah.
and then you've got enough raving fans and they will support that. And then Clay Lawrence can kind of remove in the future. But you have to
Mhm.
build that foundation, right? First of all. So I think, this is what people maybe sometimes are afraid of, is of putting themselves out there and having those conversations going, oh, it's going to take so long, it's going to take time. But yeah, it's going to take some time. But the results, it's not a linear curve. You get that hockey stick effect after a while, right? Sorry, Robin has a hand raised. You have a question in here.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask your question, Robin, or is it the one that you've got in the chat?
Sure.
Maybe it's a different one.
It's the one I have in the chat.
I wasn't ignoring you, Robin. I knew it was there. I was coming to you.
Yeah, no, I was just wondering if you had a basic, you know, script for when you're reaching out to warm or cold contacts that you use to
Yeah.
break the ice, that you say, hey,
Yeah, for sure. So for me, being very service specific for reviews, kind of my go-to was, hey, what are you doing to get Google reviews? Or what are you using to generate Google reviews? And like the easiest unlock here is just search for a particular keyword, like whatever service you're trying to provide, whether it's SEO, whether it's reviews, whatever, and search for that keyword of like Google reviews or reviews in that actual Facebook group and see who's been recently posting about it. And then you can just DM and say, hey, I saw that post. Did you figure out what you're doing for Google reviews? And honestly, when we're doing this first message, you just want to act like you're one of them. Like you don't, I mean, we're not trying to deceive them or anything, but we just want to kind of get our foot in the door and start the conversation. So it's like, hey, did you figure out that about what, what did you decide to use on reviews and stuff like that? And then you can kind of segue that conversation once you get the response and that, you're not in the spam folder or whatever. Kind of segue that into, oh, sweet. Well, I have a solution. I'd love to offer it to you for free. And so if they've already posted about it, I'll do that. Or if we were in like software specific groups, I would honestly just ask, hey, are you still using, insert software name, And so just to start the conversation, and that way I also know if there'd be a good client that we can integrate with their systems and stuff like that. So honestly, just something super short, not like, I'm sure we all get these Facebook DMs. I know I do, where it's like a book. And I'm like, I'm not even reading I'm not even reading any of this because of the book that you just sent me, And so
Yeah.
just sending over like a sentence, they can just visualize, see, and respond to right away. They don't even think about taking the time to read it because they can see it so quickly. And so just acting like them, something super short, and then
Okay,
kind of
because
say,
okay. So
yeah.
basically, I joined High Level because I'm in an MLM and it was growing really fast and I was like, oh my God, who did I email? Where am I at? The first, the second, the third, I need to follow up, I need to call. And it just took care of that because I realized, your introduction email is always the same. How to get started is always the same. Your follow-ups, I think, are always the same. And it's like, well, hey, I could automate this if I could figure out how. And
Yeah,
that's how
yeah,
I
yeah.
ended up with High Level. I found a coach because I was getting a bit overwhelmed because I started growing really fast. And
Mhm.
she hooked me up to automate all my text messages and my emails. And I use it to send all my bulk. Since then I've started a weekly newsletter and I use that for that and reminder text messages. It's awesome.
That's awesome, Rob. Yeah, it just saves you so much
So I
time.
just don't know what I just like, but now things have changed and I'm thinking about maybe focusing on High Level and dropping the other one slowly. So I'm just not sure how to approach people because most of if you've ever been in an MLM, like 99% of the people are really not doing anything and they're not business minded.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
just don't know how to reach out. Like I just don't know what to say, you know.
Like, like
Yeah.
like Clay said, just keep it short and sweet. I mean, Michael's just dropped in the comments there. He got and Michael Dooley, who's on here at the moment. He's got a pretty reasonable sized agency, Michael, I think we could say. Yeah, it's all right. He got his first 200 or so clients via organic DM. So he's got to reach out. And a lot of this,
Yeah,
there's
but
partly,
what did you DM? What did you say?
as Clay said, something short, just get to the point,
Give
whatever it
me an
is that you're trying
example.
to offer them.
I'm the type of person who needs an example. I could personalize it and work with it, but I need some framework other than just send a message because I'm like, everything I do is too long, as you might have
Probably
noticed from this conversation, me getting to the point.
probably a training for another day, I reckon. This
Yeah, I
one.
think so. I think so, Robin, because yeah, Clay gave a couple of specific examples there. He said he would just reach out and say, "Hey, what are you doing for reviews?" Because he's offering a review service. So, what are you doing
Yeah.
for reviews?
Depends on what you're selling. It
Are
really
you
depends
still
on what.
using this service? Yeah. So you need to understand what your offer is first of all. So depends what your offer is, but basically keep something short, succinct, to the point that people can read very quickly and they can instantly know what the answer is. You don't want to be sending something to them that says, "Hey, what are you doing for reviews? We can help you with reviews because we have a great software service that can help you to get more reviews, which will help you to get more clients. Is that something you're interested in?" Because like my brain's just gone to mush if I have to read that.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So consider your offer, and if you're still,
So if
if
I
you
wanted to just sign them up with High Level as their own for their own use, like I originally did, like if I wanted to become an agency, I could just say something like, "How do you manage your text and emails?"
You could, and I think maybe this is a broader conversation because if you're going into that part, then you're very generic. You're trying to sell high level, and you're just competing with everyone out there. You need to find your niche, either your audience that you serve or the niche part of high level that you're going to use. So I think maybe let's let Clay go through his thing, and maybe this is a direction for you, and you can go, oh, maybe reviews is a thing that you can use. Figure out the thing that
I
you're
have
going to
no
sell
idea how to
first.
use it for reviews, to be honest.
Okay.
Well, you'll
Let's
figure it
crack
out.
on because
It's
Clay
not
is going to show us how to use personalized images. So I'm interested in this, Clay, because what are you doing with personalized images, mate?
Oh, what do I do? Okay, yeah, for sure. So, what we do to help our clients get a crazy amount of reviews, and honestly, this is just a great unique selling proposition because no other review softwares at the time we're doing this, and we use nifty images to basically dynamically add the end customer's name to an image. So instead of just sending out a review request, plain old boring text saying, "Hey, please leave us a review. We'd really appreciate it," we can add an image to these texts and these emails and we can dynamically put the end user's name on it. So let's say you worked with Sally, we can put Sally's name on this image. And so it makes it easier to sell and it helps increase that conversion rate on the reviews to kind of differentiate themselves for it. And so here's an example, like sometimes we'll get people to get their team or somebody to hold up a sign or hold up a computer or hold up something like that, and then we can auto-populate that name on it. And so just very quickly, I show you how to do it. It's just niftyimages.com. I got to give Matt DeSeno a huge shout for this because I think he showed this to me like 2 years ago. But yeah, niftyimages.com, and you just log in, you create an image, and from there you want to make sure you upload an image and make sure it's under 1 MB when you drag it here. And from there you can just add a merge tag layer. And so you're going to add the merge tag, drag that little field wherever you want it to be on the image. And then from there, you want to copy this link that they give you and then replace everything after the equal sign with that curly bracket contact dot first underscore name. And then you can just add that to the SMS action via a URL right here. And then now, every single time we send out this review request, that customer's name gets added to the image. And so this is honestly just like a really shiny object that it's really easy to sell to local business owners, and it does help with conversion rate and stuff like that. Yeah, so you can see here some results like Junk Punks went from 123 to 833 reviews. This is a little bit outdated. I think they have like 1,200 reviews now. But yeah, the results that people can get are pretty crazy, especially when we do a review reactivation, which I'll talk about shortly here. So yeah, the third part I want to go over is just how to make sure your clients stay for years. At the price point that we're charging, $100 to $300 per month, having a client, signing up a client is great. Having a client for a month or two is fine. But having that client for 6 months, 12 months, and years down the line, that's when it really starts to compound. That's when you're getting paid for the work you did 2 years ago. And it's like an hour or 2 hour setup. And then you're just going to hopefully get those monthly payments every single month. And so, big disclaimer that I mentioned this earlier, but I've only been doing review hours for about 18 months. So maybe I'm on the verge of like a great cancellation. And maybe whatever I've done has is gonna make everybody want to cancel after 19 months or whatever. But I've onboarded this is a little bit old. I've onboarded about 245 businesses, and we have about 200 set up and active now. And so the first thing we do is we want to get a big win up front. And everybody knows, and Alex Rizzi, talks about this a lot in his books. But those first 24 hours, 48 hours of you working with another company or a business working with another business are so, so crucial in terms of just getting them results, making them not regret their purchase or regret their trial or whatever they did. And so the first thing we do is we just set up a review activation to all their previous customers. So let's imagine you're working with Johnny's Plumbing. Johnny's Plumbing uses Jobber or they use House Call Pro or Service Titan where they have all their customer list. We'll grab that customer list in a CSV file, we'll throw it into their sub account, and we'll slowly drip out review requests via text and email to that entire list. Normally, we can get anywhere from 5 to 15% of their customers to leave them a review. So now Johnny's Plumbing had 1,000 customers. They had 20 reviews or whatever. We upload that list of 1,000 customers, and we got him another 100 reviews. And he's like, holy crap, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen in my life. And they're super stoked. And honestly, this goes into like, if I were to upsell, I'd probably say about a third of our clients, and a lot more in the beginning when I wasn't so like niche focused on reviews and I just still kind of moving the agency thing away. Like 30 to 40% of people are like, hey, What else do you do? Cards on file. What else do you do? Do you do websites? Do you do ads? Do you do whatever? And so get them a big win up front, and that's really going to increase the trust they have for you down the line. And yeah, and like I said, I just mentioned my future slide, but it's this amazing foot in the door service, even if you're just an agency. Even if you're an agency that's doing $1,000, $2,000 a month retainers, offering this on a free trial, offering this as like what they call a first date. Hey, I'm not asking for marriage yet. Just let me prove to you I do what I say I do. And so that's the biggest thing. Like I think if you read a lot of my reviews, it's like Review Harvest actually did what they say they're going to do, which is so hard to find nowadays. And so just doing what you say you're going to do really increases that trust and can help make them lifelong clients or sell them other services. And so step two, and this is where things can get a little bit tricky. This is probably the most complex, technically the most complex thing that we do is we try and get integrated with their system. And so we position Review Harvest as, hey, you're not going to have to change a single thing. Your employees don't need to learn anything else. You don't need to learn anything else. You don't need to come add customers in here. You don't need to change your process. You don't need to click a button. We're going to figure out what they're already using within their current system, whether it's another CRM, Jobber, whatever they're a Google Sheet, Google Calendar, whatever it is, we're going to try and get integrated with it so they don't have to change anything. And we can just send that customer's information from each appointment or each booking or whatever into their sub account and automatically request reviews. And so this is one of those things where it's a whole Pandora's box because there's hundreds or thousands of other CRMs you can integrate with. But the gist is using Zapier, Make, Pabbly, webhooks, or whatever to try and get integrated with their CRM. And so then step three here is proactive support. So we have some spreadsheets that you can download all the information from your sub accounts. If you go to agency view, you go to your sub accounts and you click on the little download button, you can download all of that data from all those sub accounts based off a date range. That might only be available on the 497 plan. I'm not sure. But it kind of gives us a high level, pun intended, overview of how everybody's doing. And so from there, we can see, okay, for this month, we see that this client hasn't really gotten as many reviews as we think they should have gotten. Or, hey, this client hasn't added any new contacts. We need to check the integration. And so reaching out to these clients when they're struggling or before they even know they're struggling, before they reach out to us and say, hey, looks like your integration was broken. Looks like something was broken. You haven't gotten any reviews. Just want to let you know we fixed it. We added a free month to your account to make up for the lost time, whatever. That goes a long way because now they can kind of sit back and they can say, okay, this company isn't just sitting back collecting a paycheck. They're actually paying attention to what's going on, and I know they have my best interests. So proactive support has been big for us and just trying to respond to emails and stuff quickly. And this was from the high-level slide, so I'm not going to promote my affiliate link or whatever. But yeah, if you have any questions, you can just email support@reviewharvest.com, and yeah, we're happy to answer any questions about reviews and stuff like that.
Cool, man. We have a question in the chat here from Susanna. We've been talking about this, Clay, anyway, so maybe you're going to change this a bit anyway. But are you setting up A2P for each client to send them texts? It's a
Susanna,
tricky subject now in the US, right? So
Yeah. Susanna, what you need to do is you need to talk to Gary and you need to get set up on myCRMSIM. Is that good? Is that what I'm supposed to say there?
perfect answer, mate. Yeah, couldn't have framed it any better.
No, for sure. Well, and Susanna, just totally honest, what I was doing for the longest time was we were doing toll-free verification. So I have like a 15-minute YouTube video about this. Not a lawyer, probably not the most compliant way to do it, whatever. But I created a way to automatically create new sub accounts and verify toll-free numbers. And then when I get a new client, I assigned them to a sub account that had a verified toll-free number. And so it's kind of automated. I didn't have to do the A2P. I was just using toll-free, and they had phone numbers on day one, so we could start getting the results right away. I don't know if y'all have been trying to verify numbers or toll-free numbers, but it has gotten rough out there. And so now there's so many great solutions. Like I think that Gary's solution, I'm not even just saying this, I'm being for real. People in my community use it all the time. Gary's solution makes a lot of sense for basically the bridge between, hey, I just got a client and I need to send text day one to, hey, now we have a phone number verified in their account. And so that can take some of the stress off. You can, get the phone, plug the CRM, connect it to the sub account pretty easily. And then you can start sending text day one and you can get them those results in the first 24, 40 hours or a week while they're on that trial. And then once you have that, phone number verified in the sub account, you can now transition them off and, use that SIM card for something else, right? So that's one option. What I'm also working on is basically like a master sending account. So having one account where all of the text messages go out and basically web hooking them over to a master sending account. It's a little bit messy, it's a little bit hairy, but I post like a 30-minute video going into the details about it. I don't know if people can really follow it or not, or those just me talking crazy. But then another option is like text grid. You could use text grid and integrate with them. I mean, it's hard. The phone number stuff is hard. So, but there are options.
Yeah, well, what we were talking about as well is like the option because the bridging of using our
Yeah.
service to get into A2P. Because what you were telling me is like most of your clients, it's like you're not sending out heaps of text messages a month. It's like
Yeah.
maybe
100%.
100 is kind of a sort of an average number maybe for your guys. And then with the
Yeah.
cost of SMS in the US, that's like $1 basically. That's $1 worth of text messages,
Yeah.
which is a lot more than it would cost with our service. All right, because you've got to
Yeah.
send some volume to make it worthwhile. But having us as the bridge across makes a lot of sense because like, okay, well, we can get them up and running. We can do an initial one. We get that started and then we get HTTP verified, and then we just move it over and put them onto a Twilio number. So the longer run, it saves you money, but in the upfront, you can deliver immediately and get those results. So we've got a lot of clients doing that because then they can deliver on their promise. Because there's nothing worse than kind of signing a client up and then like you can't deliver the next, in the
Yeah.
time frame that you've promised. And even for clients, like we talk to some and they go, yeah, well, we can get A2P done within a week. It's like, yeah, okay, you get it done within a week, but how good is it if you can get it done the next day and you can deliver a result for a client the next day? Because
Yeah.
they just paid you
Yeah.
and they're excited for
Yeah.
that first week. And even
Yeah.
if you've given them the time frame of a week, then they expect it, but they're not so excited. Whereas you go, yeah, we'll get this started for you by tomorrow. Like one of our
Yeah.
clients, his promise is that he will set up Facebook ads for them and start delivering leads to them that afternoon. They sign up in the morning, we'll have Facebook ads up and running for you by the afternoon. And he basically just uses UpHex with some Carlson and then our system to get their SMS set up with a Facebook ad and a lead form and then integrates a bot for us and then that's it. And he can get that
Yeah.
set up within like an hour, basically. So they're getting leads by the afternoon. And then he does the same thing. He transfers it over to A2P and a Twilio verified number later on. But speed to lead and delivery for your client, all the things that you've talked about as well, like the trust and the fact you're reviewing it and doing all that, it's like, you delivered what you promised. Right? They
Yeah.
trust you out the gate then if you do that straight away. So
Yeah. 100%. And what Gary said too about using it as a bridge, like the first month is the highest volume sending for us every time because we're doing that review reactivation. And so yeah, this myCRMSIM is gonna save you a bunch of money because sometimes we're sending out 1,500, 2,000, 3,000 SMSs in the first 4 to 6 weeks. But then once we finish that review reactivation, now we're just sending it to new customers, and yeah, it's only 100 or 200 SMS a month. And so it doesn't make sense to use myCRMSIM them just to transfer them to a number. But that review reactivation is gonna save you money and time, and you'll be able to get them results right away. So yeah.
thank you, Matt. Any more questions? I was just looking at the Facebook Live. I don't have anything there. Anyone else got any questions? Or I'll ask you some.
Gary, I've got a question, man.
Shoot, Alec.
Hey, hey Clay. Thanks for coming, man.
Yes, sir.
Loving your YouTube channel, by the way. So keep
Oh,
on
cool.
crushing it. We're in the review space as well. I had a question about the phone number, which you are using for. So I think I saw your latest video where you just, using one generic number, like one sub account for the numbers and all that stuff.
Yep.
The question is, let's say you got a new client, you're doing an onboarding with them, you're doing a database reactivation for them. They're done with it. Are you issuing them a new number later on, or are you just using the same number for that one client, or are you recycling it between clients? Are you using the same number for more than one client? That's the question in a nutshell.
Yeah. Yeah. The master sending sub account is super new for me, just to be honest. I think I have like 7 clients set up on it right now. And they're all getting reviews and it's going fine. But what we're doing right now would just be recycling. We have like 5 different numbers in that and we're splitting it. But what we do make sure is we make sure that the same contact is getting review requests all from the same number every time. And then
Yep.
also, if for some reason that same contact is also a customer of another one of your businesses, another one of your clients, they're getting a text from a separate number, right? So we have that logic in the workflow so that we just use a unique identifier of like the contact business phone or something, pulling through from the webhook, so that if Sally is a customer of the bakery and the plumber, which are both your clients, she's not going to look at a text from like 850 number or whatever, and she's going to have requests from the bakery and from the plumber on the same thread, which would be kind of confusing, right? So
Yeah.
we're recycling the numbers for now. I do think that the goal is to always just get something in their own account. And so I think
Yeah.
probably we'll use master. Long term, we'll probably use master sending account as like the bridge there. And in the US, like TextGrid has really great prices for for our volume and for them. So been talking to TextGrid too about they have some stuff you can do with like you can verify like 49 phone numbers under one campaign, so it'll save you a bunch of money and time too. So yeah, looking at that solution as well.
Got it. By the way, I would love to connect, mate. I'll send you a DM sometime.
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah.
Mate, I was going to ask you, what's been the hardest part about growing Review Harvest? What's
Yeah.
kept you up at night, mate?
No, yeah, honestly, in the beginning, the hardest part was just like the doubt. I'm a pretty skeptical person, and I have moments of optimism or whatever, but then like when you're on the front lines and you're doing that cold outreach and you're getting the no's and you're getting the that it's this stupid or you shouldn't be doing this or just dealing with a lot of rejection, it's really easy to think that, oh, this just isn't the right thing. And so I think honestly the hardest part was just getting through that muck of like 0 clients, like 50 clients, and then once you have 50 clients, you're like, okay, this is legit. I mean, it's legit after 10. You can know it's legit because, I'm able to do it. Because if I can do it, I promise that you can do it. But it's just getting through that muck of like getting started and like the doubts. And then the other hard part, a couple other hard parts is just figuring out all the compliance stuff with phone numbers and just compliance stuff in general. That stuff it's you can go down a rabbit hole and waste and like spend your whole day on it. It's obviously good to know. I've learned more about compliance from phone number compliance in the last 3 weeks than I have ever. I feel like I have a good grip on it now. So that's a little stressful. And then switching from going to local, like starting local cold outreach, and I did local ads for a bit too. Switching that from going to going national, going to anybody in the US, that was a hard transition because I went from people like kind of knowing who I was or knowing about me a little bit, or I can meet with them at a coffee shop and we live in the same area, to now work, talking to people who have no idea who Review Harvest is and don't care, and they just they just filled out a form on a Facebook ad, and so it's a totally different type of conversation. So that was pretty difficult as well.
Yeah, cool, man. Good question on Facebook on the live there from Anthony Starks. Hey, Anthony. Says, is there an ideal type of business that you recommend to target versus to stay away from?
Yeah. Somebody asked this the other day on one of my YouTube videos, and I think that the list of people that I don't work with or that I avoid is a lot shorter than the list of people that I do. Like for the most part, businesses are going to are going to sit in the category of, hey, we can help serve them. And a lot of times it has a lot more to do with like the caliber of the business in that industry than it does the actual industry, right? So for example, tree service guys could be a great client, but if they're like the top 20 or 30% of tree service people that actually use software and actually use something to manage their business, they're a great fit for us. But a lot of tree service companies are just like Joe Schmo's got a truck and a chainsaw, and they don't use any sort of software. They don't have any records of their customer information. There's no way for us to automate their review requests, and so they're not a great client for us. So we try to avoid like the bottom tier of every industry that doesn't use any software and stuff. And then we also try to avoid like I don't think it's not that you can't serve these people. I think we just have to change our offering. Like for restaurants, a lot of restaurants don't collect contact information. And so you can still get them reviews. Obviously, that's important. We would just probably change our offering up to do like a table card and do QR codes as well and stuff like that. And maybe have like a text list and stuff like that. But yeah, we don't really work with realtors, restaurants. Other than that, home services, insurance. Oh, also you have to think about volume. So like, if they're a business that has super low volume, the automation component of the review request is not going to be very valuable, right? If you're working like an insurance agent that has like 5 or 6 new customers a month, like they should probably just text them from their phone, right? They're going to get a higher conversion rate from the same phone number and channel they've been messaging them from the whole time, right? And so try and find like higher volume customers that have 50 or 20 or 30 to like a couple hundred customers a month, and then also they at least collect contact information. I know that's not a great answer to that question, and I wish I had a better answer. I need to spend some time figuring that out. But
Yeah, I think it's we found the same thing as well. It's finding clients that actually want and understand the value of the service that you're offering, right?
Yep.
When you talk about like the tree lopper guy, right? There's that
Yeah. Yeah.
20% who they know that this is a thing they should do, and
Yep.
they're not quite sure how to do it. They don't want to spend the
Yeah.
time doing it. They know there's value in it. So then they talk to Clay and they go, oh, yeah, Clay gets it. He's got a system. Great. I can give it to him and then I can forget about it. But then
Yeah.
you've got 80% of them that are just like, what, mate? Google reviews?
Yeah.
Don't care.
Exactly.
Like, I got enough work coming in. I get a phone call every other day, and they just don't
Exactly.
care. And then you got to sell it to them hard. And then they're just going to be a painful client because even if they see they've got 20 more reviews, they just go, oh, I don't care. My phone rang
Yeah.
5 times now instead of three. Oh, I've got more
Yeah.
than enough work. Like they just don't have
Yeah.
the foresight on the value that it can add to their business. So that's where I would say those clients are the ones that you want to review. They just don't even get it to start with. And a lot of times you can kind of figure that out, especially if you're running ads like you are now. You get people with ads and they just kind of come on. And if they start that out with, yeah, I saw a thing about you do reviews, mate. What's that all about? They're probably not going to be a great fit. Whereas if they come on the call and go, yeah, I saw you do something about reviews. We know we need to get more reviews, but we're just struggling. We don't have the time. We're
Yep.
not sure how to get it. Instantly,
Money.
instantly,
Perfect.
you've got a client you can start to work with versus the first one. You're like, oh God, I'm gonna have to sell this to this person. If you got to sell it
Yeah.
to them, it's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's interesting just to go off that point. We track the starting number of reviews all of our clients get when they sign up with us. So we can know how many reviews we got in them, et cetera. But it also gives us good data as like, okay, our ideal clients, the people that we obviously work well with and that sign up with us, how many reviews do they have? And the average is about 63 or 64 reviews. And I think it's because they have enough reviews to know that it's important. They know that reviews are a thing that you need, they should be asking for this, but they don't have so many reviews that they probably already have like a banking system that works well to get that set up. And so our average is about 63 or 64. I mean, it's just like trying to sell websites to somebody that doesn't have a website in 2025. It's like not only do you need to sell them your website, but now you need to sell them the fact that they even need a website in general. Because like I made it this far without a website. Why do I need a website? And then if you finally do get them to be like, yeah, I need a website, then you're like, okay, you should use my website. It's like selling shoes to somebody's barefoot. You got to sell the shoe, the fact that they need shoes, and then you also sell your shoe.
Great analogies, mate. Great. I know that you're on a bit of a time clock, mate, and we're kind of hitting the end of that. I don't know if we've got another question from anyone at all. Otherwise, I have one more question for you. Has anyone else got another question for you? Or I'm going to ask my question, and we'll let you get on, mate. No.
Cool,
All right.
cool.
Well, I have this question here. Where this question came from, but we've compiled some stuff here for questions. But Clay, you're pretty young anyway, aren't you? Like you're 24, 25?
22.
You're 22. Okay, you're younger than I thought, mate. Congratulations on doing so well at so young, mate. That's awesome.
Thank
So
you.
I'm not sure at what age you're going to ask yourself, but the question I have here is, what is the one thing you would tell your younger self? You're pretty young anyway, mate. So I don't know how young we're going with this, but well,
Yeah, one thing I would tell my younger self, I would just think about the person I was when I was starting to get into marketing. Probably the one thing I would tell myself is to spend a year or spend 3 to 6 months or whatever. And if you really don't know what you want to do, I think that it is totally okay. I know that it's hard to scale. We kind of poo-pooed on it earlier, but I think that it's totally okay to be a glorified freelancer, like have your little business or whatever, and just say yes to everything. And like that's what I did for like a year. I had said yes to everything. I was like, I would sit down with local business owners and say, what problems do you have? Like bring them to me. What can I solve? And over time, yeah, you might see, okay, this is a problem that a lot of business owners have, and I enjoy solving it and I have a good solution for it. And so don't like stress too much about I got to get the perfect pick and I got the perfect industry, have the perfect process or whatever. Just go out and say yes and like try and get some money coming in and just learn a lot. And then from there you'll have more data and more information as to what you like, what you kind of are geared towards. And the great thing with HighLevel is that HighLevel makes it really easy to provide highly leveraged services, right? Like we are service providers, but it's highly leveraged, right? And so you can scale pretty much anything in here if you do it the right way. But yeah, don't be too hard on yourself in the beginning for just saying yes to people and getting some stuff going and learning. But the thing is, once you do pick, you gotta stick to it. Like once you pick Clay, you gotta stick because I mean I spent a year doing anything for anybody, and then I picked, and then I hopped from thing to thing to thing for probably another year and a half. Like a photography marketing agency, a whole bunch of stuff. And so just once you do pick, pick and go all in on it. And it's always going to be hard. The grass always looks greener, but it's not. I think Alex Hormozi, CFO, said the grass isn't actually greener. There's just like more shit there. It's okay. But it's like there's shit everywhere or something, you know. So just stick with what you pick and go all in.
Yeah. So go wide, just try a load of things and then focus. And the
Yeah.
focus will end up getting the results. All right, mate. Well, look, thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming on, Clay. Hopefully there's a ton of value for people. If you have any other questions, if you don't want, oh, you're in our Facebook group. If you've got questions for Clay later
Yeah.
on, if you're watching the live, post them in the comments down there. I'm sure Clay will come back in and answer them, mate. But really appreciate your time, Clay. Congrats on everything you've done so far. Hopefully next year, or this year now, actually, you'll kind of come to Dallas this year.
Yes, I need to I need to get my ticket. But yes, I will be in Dallas and hopefully we'll see you there.
Perfect, mate. Thanks, buddy. We'll see you
Awesome.
there.
See y'all.
Bye, mate.